With this year's release of Scoob, we all finally have an answer to that age-old question. Which came first, the Scooby or the Snacks? To prove to a cop that Scooby belongs to him, Shaggy must prove that he knows the dog's name, a classic technique used by police forces everywhere.
Is he your dog?
He's, like, totally mine.
What's his name?
Oh, you don't have to turn him in, officer. See, he's my dog.
Really? What's your dog's name? Sandy, huh? Well, why don't you call him?
An on-hand box of Scooby Snacks gives Shaggy the perfect answer.
Snacks.
What?
Snacks?
I mean, Scooby.
Scooby Snacks are an integral part of Scooby-Doo mythology and have been around as long as the dog himself. But the Scooby-Doo franchise has been going on for over 50 years now. Is this really the first time anyone has acknowledged in canon that Scooby and the Snacks share the same name? Where did Scooby get his name? And how often do the Snacks play in? Let's take a look. Scooby-Doo Where Are You is the inaugural Scooby-Doo series and set the model for every series after it. But it doesn't have much in the way of canon or chronology. You can watch any episode in any order and it wouldn't change your enjoyment or understanding of the show. The new Scooby-Doo movies is the same way, except sometimes Batman or the Harlem Globetrotters are there.
Bat milk?
Its modern counterpart, the currently airing Scooby-Doo and Guess Who, doesn't seem to have made any headway in the origin department so far. Neither did 2010's Mystery Incorporated, but to be fair, they were probably a little busy. Now, the Scooby-Doo show introduces an interesting wrinkle. This is the first show where we see some of Scooby's family, and it's the Scooby cousins, Scooby-Dum and Scooby-Dee. Now, up until this point, you probably would have assumed that Scooby is his first name and Doo is a last name. But with all three cousins having Scooby at the front, doesn't this imply that Scooby is a family name, and the Scooby family follows the naming order convention more commonly found in Eastern countries, with Doo, Dum, and Dee being their given names? I mean, no, of course this was never confirmed, but that's why it's called an interpretation. The later series do reverse this thought process, though. A whole bunch of new branches get added to Scooby's family tree, with of course nephew Scrappy, along with sister Ruby, brother Yabba, and cousins Doobie, Dixie, and Whoopsie. We also meet Grandpa and Great-Grandpa Scooby at Scooby Mansion, so I guess Scooby is just one of those family names that, gets passed down from generation to generation. Not as exciting as being saved from a cop and starting a new friendship, but it is a definitive answer. But forget about the name for a second. What about the real Scooby-Doo origins? Scoob is being touted as a Scooby-Doo origin story, but surely we've seen a pup named Scooby-Doo at some point already. No, not yet. Scooby-Doo's first origin story came between Scooby-Dum and Scrappy-Doo in the television film Scooby Goes Hollywood. With prompting from Shaggy, Scooby heads out to be a movie star, leaving the gang and their TV show behind. This leads the gang to reminisce about when they adopted Scooby, just a clumsy puppy at the time. It's a sweet moment, but it says nothing about the name Scooby or the Snacks, so I need to move on. The 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo episode, It's a Wonderful Scoob, travels back in time and shows when Scooby was born, and that his dad named him Scooby-Doo because those were his first words.
Scooby-Doo! And that's what we'll call him, Scooby-Doo.
That's an easy answer. Thanks, Dada-Doo. We also get to see a puppy Scooby in The New Scooby-Doo Mysteries and Be Cool Scooby-Doo, but just for a brief amount of time, not in a way that gives us any deep lore. We also see that Scooby used to have a different owner and Shaggy and Scooby-Doo get a clue, and he's just a hippie guy.
I'm Groovy Don, Scoob's old hippie pal.
Frankly, I reject this. But a pup named Scooby-Doo came on the scene in 1991, giving us basically the first 15 minutes of Scoob as a full show. We get to see Scooby and friends as their younger selves, solving their very first mysteries together. We also see Scooby's dog family, with Mom, Dad, and siblings Ruby, Skippy, and Howdy. Also, this is the first time we ever hear Scoobert, as far as I can tell.
Well, Scoobert, 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 hi, Scoobert.
But I was excited to get to a pup named Scooby-Doo because I remembered there was a whole episode about saving the Scooby Snacks factory. And there is, and they do. But the owner of the factory doesn't know Scooby and just brushes off the kids as they try to help solve the mystery. And her name is Mrs. McSnacks. So what, do I have to figure out if she's named after the Scooby Snacks too? No one acknowledges the name similarities. They just, do their thing. But even weirder, we see the first time Scooby actually had a Scooby Snack.
Would you do it for a Scooby snack?
Scooby Snack? What's that?
But it wasn't from a box, it was homemade by Daphne's butler. So how does he know how to make a Scooby Snack? Daphne's rich, so does part of her family's money come from selling off a lucrative recipe? Or is this just one of those copycat recipes you'd find online, like when I try to make Outback's bloomin' onion sauce at home? The gang saves the Scooby Snacks factory again in Which New Scooby-Doo? They eat, they stop the monster, and they don't acknowledge anything about the names, giving me the runaround one more time. But remember how Be Cool Scooby-Doo showed Scooby as a puppy for just a few seconds? The show may not have given Scooby a detailed beginning, but we do get one for the Scooby Snacks. In Sorcerer Snack's Scare, the gang visits a snack factory with snacks so delicious that Shaggy and Scooby will do anything for them. By the end, the CEO is so grateful that the factory is saved, he renames the food Scooby Snacks.
Why not Shaggy Snacks? Kids want to buy snacks from a talking dog, not a beardy guy.
So there it is, a real origin for Scooby Snacks, and finally someone who's grateful that they just saved their factory. So yes, Scoob is one of the very few entries in the Scooby-Doo universe to actually show a connection between Scooby and his favorite snacks. But I guess it's not really that unusual for names and food to have no connection in the real world, right? So that's it, the dog named for the snacks named for the dog, and lots of other Scooby-Doo history and tidbits. Share it to educate your friends, so that we can all be Scooby-Doo scholars. See this guy? That's Scooby's Uncle Horton. Horton here's a Doo.